Hello, my lovelies. What up, nerds? How are you feeling? Are you feeling good? I hope you are. Some affirmations. You are wonderful. You are glorious. You are beautiful. You are handsome. You are divine. You are everything. You are everything. You are intelligent. You are inspirational. You're motivational. You are pristine. Excellence. You are awesome, as in awe-inspiring. And a lot of you don't even know it, that this is how you are. You just kind of live your everyday. You don't think about it too tough, because that's just the life that you live. It's been a couple of days since I did my last video, and it's funny because I never know when I'm gonna do these. I do them if I feel moved to do them. So for those of you who are new here, my name is Yasha. I also go by Tater the Penguin on Twitch. That's where I am the most active right now, is on Twitch, which is a live streaming platform where I play video games. Usually Wednesdays and Fridays is what I've been doing. I don't know. I've been trying it. I tried it this week. I'm doing a lot of testing things out because I have a roommate and I live with my parents, and so I am one of the prime people who does things in the home as far as cooking dinner, going grocery shopping, cleaning, running certain errands that people who have jobs in the household are not running. 2 minutes and 2 seconds as I say that. So because I am like a primary person in the home, it can be difficult to get away and to do things, but I'm managing. Let us look at our beautiful crystal mobile that I like to do. In these videos. I used to do these videos every night, and I used to do updates on my life every night. Every night I did them. I did every night for 81 days. I'm still really proud of that. It was really amazing. It was an amazing time. And now I do these videos when I can, or like when I feel like, or when I have like things to share. So, did you get your water in today? I won't be here asking you every day anymore. Now I ask when I do these videos. So if you didn't get your water in today, that's okay. Try to get some water in now. If you didn't get your water in yesterday, try to get some water in now. At least 5 gulps of water, because water is very, very good for you. So, I have things to share with you guys. I have messages of hope to share with you all. It was a trying day for me. It was a very trying day, and I will explain why. So, something that is going on right now is that for those of you who had been with me for a while, you know that one of my big things was that my goal, my hope in life, is to do something that I enjoy doing where I don't feel like I'm working, and that will either bring income into my space or income will come from another place, you know, and it will happen by me trusting spirit, trusting my spiritual nudges. For those of you who are new here, a lot of the stuff that I do when I talk in these videos is very spiritual based. It's very, I'm following my gut. I'm kind of just going through life, trusting kind of an internal guidance system. 4 minutes and 14 seconds as I say that. So my foundation that I've created for myself as of October of last year is that I trust my gut when it comes to doing a lot of different things. And I am far happier than I've been before by doing this. So, one of the things that I've been saying that I really wanted to do is I want to get paid and pampered to play. Playing meaning playing video games, playing board games with other people, going out, doing fun things. 4 minutes and 44 seconds as I say that. 4 represents planning and foundations and all that good stuff. Traveling, going places, because you know there's so many jobs that people have where they do really fun stuff and they get paid to do it. Those jobs exist. They are there. It's just a matter of us tapping into those avenues and being able to find them, you know? So this is something that I've been manifesting and that I've been wanting to happen. Something that took place today that made it a very trying day is that the financial situation in my household requires me to do more than I've been doing. And it requires me to do so in a weird way. It's, without divulging like a bunch of private shit about my family, essentially there are other avenues that could be taken, but because of the way that everything is currently set up, I was put in a position where it was like, here are some things we would like for you to do, and it's some things that I don't really want to do. I tend to be very flexible as far as like helping out around my household. I'm one of those people that believes that it's not just money that you bring into a household that brings your worth. 6 minutes and 6 seconds as I say this. So if you're a person who you are helping, like let's say you're in a partnership and your spouse is the one who brings in money. You are cooking, you are cleaning, you are doing shopping. If there are kids or if there are furry companions or scaly companions or feathered companions, you are taking care of them. You're taking care of the vehicles. You're taking care of all this other stuff. You're doing so many other things and you're not bringing money into the house. That is equivalent. It's equivalent. If you in your life watching this video have ever been like, well, I just don't know if I'm contributing enough because I don't have a job or I can't find a job does not make you. Bringing in money does not equal your worth. And it's because there's so many other things that people provide to communities, that they provide to family, that they provide to relationships. Money is not the only thing. Yet in our society, we have been raised to believe, 7 minutes and 7 seconds as I'm saying this, we've been raised to believe that our ability to contribute in a household, wherever that household is, with roommates or whatever, is strictly money. Now, if you and the people in your household agreed that you would help pay for things because you have a job or because you're gonna get a job, that's one thing. But if you're in a partnership and your spouse is like, hey, no, you don't need to get a job. I work. You do all this other stuff that takes care of the household. Trust your spouse when they tell you you are doing more than enough. In my last relationship, that was something I struggled with, was finding my worth in the relationship outside of having a job. Because we've always been made to believe that if you are not making money, what good are you? And that is a really shitty way to feel about yourself and to make other people feel about themselves. So if that is something that you're going through, 8 minutes and 8 seconds, 8 equaling abundance, if that's something that you're going through, I want you to start really looking into the types of things that people provide in a relationship, in a community, and look up other things. It's not just finances. It's not just finances, but a lot of people are confused about it and they believe that it 100% is financial, but then they're confused when certain things aren't being done and it's like, oh, well, I work all day, I'm too tired to cook. That is something that when somebody does it for you, it's important. Well, I work all day, I'm too tired to clean. That is why that is also important. It's something that other people do. So I don't know who needed to hear that, but I was moved to come in here and do a video. I just got off of stream. I streamed for 5 hours, which is the longest I think I've streamed in a minute. I usually will stream at most 4.5 hours because of my situation as far as being with my roommate. Well, I'll get to that. So today I cried. I was in, not dire straits per se, but I was like, what is happening? My spirit led me to this place where I didn't think I was going to have to do these things that I'm being asked to do. And I cried because I was like, have I been wrong? Have I not been believing correctly? Am I asking for too much? What is going on? And as I was lying, because what happens when I get upset is I typically need to go somewhere where I can be alone. And back in situations where I had my own room, where I had a space, I could do that. I share all of my space now with other people, so I don't have it to go and be alone all the time. So I come and I will come into this closet, and this is where I come and I sit and I chill out, or I calm down, or I try to get myself together because I don't want to be around other people while I'm trying to do that, because oftentimes other people are uncomfortable with us feeling bad. So they want to help, they want to jump in, they want to say something. So I prefer to be in locations where I don't have people doing that, feeling like they have to do or say anything. So I was here in the closet, and as I was here, I was just kind of lying on the floor, curled up in a ball, and I was like, wow, 32 years old and you're crying in your closet. That's great. But as I was lying here, I closed my eyes and I was like, Spirit, Divine, that energy that is, what is happening? And the response I got was, doesn't this feel familiar? I was like, what do you mean? And then I thought about it. I texted my best friend and I said, hey, do you have the space for me to just kind of vent? Because I need to send text messages somewhere while I'm processing this. And she was like, yeah, go ahead, bro. I'm totally there for you. And what I realized is I was processing very quickly. And so I'm really happy, because sometimes when we do shadow work, we don't feel a difference. But your reaction time, 11 minutes and 23 seconds as I say this, your reaction time, your response time to certain things, and your recovery time shows you whether or not your shadow work is actually taking place. For me, the conversation that I had today that took it out of me, it just hit me right in the gut, blew me all kinds of back. Ordinarily would have taken me out for a couple of days. But it was about 10 minutes. And then my spirit said, doesn't it feel familiar? And I realized it was familiar. This exact conversation that I had was the exact conversation I've had every year for the past 2 years. And it always happens at around this time. And I was like, 12 minutes and 12 seconds as I say that. And so then I looked it up spiritually, and I found out that currently Venus is in retrograde, and then Mercury will also be in retrograde from around May 16th to April 7th. Now, for those of you who aren't spiritualists, you don't really keep up with the zodiacs and the planets and all of that shit, essentially what it means is this is a weird time where everything that has been problematic in your past that has had to do with relationships, finances, what was it? It was relationships, finances, and certain like emotional things are coming back. So a lot of people right now are hearing back from their exes, or they're hearing back from people who were not good for them, who are like, hey, I haven't talked to you in a minute. Or you're having conversations with family members that are very, very similar to toxic conversations you've had before. And again, if I didn't believe in the spiritual, I continue to be given so many situations that take place that show me that there is something happening. Something's going down. And so I thought about it and I was like, oh, so that conversation was not a conversation that was meant to stress me. I was not asked to do these things because I need to do them. I was asked to do these things because that conversation needed to take place and I needed to respond in the way that I responded. I've had that conversation multiple times where I have been asked to step out of my trusting and my divine space to try and keep other people from feeling stressed about the space that they're in. And historically what I do is I stress about it and I say, I'm going to do everything in my power to try to make everybody else feel better. But I caught it today. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not stressing. I'm going to keep towing the line of exactly what I am supposed to be doing spiritually. 14 minutes and 23 seconds to say that. And so I got myself together, I put my clothes on, and I went for a walk, and I checked my notes app, because I write a lot of my stuff in my notes app, and I reread all of my desires. Right now it is a waxing gibbous, meaning that a full moon is actually approaching. At the time that I'm recording this, that is what's happening. And a lot of energy and a lot of fuck shit may pop off on the full moon. So I went for a walk and I read through my notes app and I realized all of my desires and I reaffirmed them to myself. This is why making a note, whether it's in your phone, whether it's in a journal, wherever it's at, this is why it's so important to write down or have somewhere outside of your mind what your desires are for your life. 15 minutes and 15 seconds as I say this, because there are going to be times where shit pops off and you are so mired down by the past. You're so sad. You're so, I can't believe this is happening. You want to flip a table. You want to crash the fuck out. You want to go at people. You want to cuss your mama, your daddy, your siblings, your goldfish. You want to tell everybody about themselves. And you forget very briefly who you are. You writing down those things is so crucial for you, because what it will do is it will give you the opportunity to reconnect, to reel it back in and reconnect with your chosen purpose and desires. The thing, 15 minutes and 55 seconds as I'm saying this, the things that your inner child wants most. Because that is what's good for you. What your inner child wants for you is good for you. And I'm not talking about your inner child wants the toxicity hit. I'm talking about your inner child at your core of who you actually are outside of the trauma. And I know a lot of you don't know who that is. This is why I think it's so important to really figure that out, to lock it in, to go to therapy, depending upon how, complex and wound up your type of trauma is. It's so important. It's so valuable, because figuring that out is going to help you. It's going to be your North Star. It's going to be the star. So I reconnected. And then once I reconnected, I listened to some music and I looked up at the moon and I was like, I am on a spinning rock in the middle of space. Nothing is that deep. Nothing is that deep. Everybody else who gets stressed about finances, everybody else outside of me who gets stressed about their living situation, that burden is not mine to carry. When it comes to the things that you want to do in your life, if you have family members, and I say family members in particular because for a lot of us, family, we were raised to believe that family comes first before everything else. And some of us, we were raised that way in a toxic way, where it was like, even if you have friends that care about you, they'll never love you as much as we love you. That's toxic. That is incredibly toxic, to tell your children that nobody will ever love you like I love you. I think that's incredibly toxic. It's an opinion. That's definitely an opinion. But to tell somebody that they cannot receive love that is strong, that is palpable, that is fulfilling outside of you, is giving ego. It's kind of giving narcissist. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. We're not diagnosing anybody. But it's a little selfish to tell somebody that no one will love you like I do. If you truly love a person, then you hope that other people will love them. You know that there are thousands of other people on this planet. You understand that the universe doesn't just love that person through you. There are other people who exist. But a lot of times, our family members stress and they worry and they're concerned, especially older family members, because they were raised in an environment where that was their reality. Anytime somebody was stressed, they had to jump, and they were raised in that environment, and we don't have to be. We don't have to be. We get to choose the things that fulfill us. We get to choose our peace. We get to have our peace. You're not a bad person for not carrying your spouse or your best friend or your family's stress when it comes to finances, when it comes to finding love. If you have a parent who's divorced and they're constantly up your ass about finding a partner, 19 minutes and 19 seconds, I don't know who that's for. But if you have a parent who's constantly up your ass about finding a partner and it's because they got divorced, that's not your burden to carry. Parents always, not always, but a lot of parents try to live vicariously through their offspring, their adult offspring. And that is not your concern. That is not your worry, my love. But what was crazy was realizing that conversation was not for me to do. It was for me to realize how far I have come. and how I could take that information, I could be hit by the information, and then I had the ability and the mental control to stop the spiraling before it got out of control. Y'all, I was so proud of myself. And some of you, this is what I was talking about in another video that I did in this series, where I said, celebrate your wins. Your I made it moments sometimes are not those big flashy moments where a giant check comes out and there's confetti everywhere and there's, dancers, with the giant feathers. Like, sometimes it's that you had a conversation with somebody who you typically have arguments with. They came at your life and you very calmly were like, I'm not carrying that. And you walked away from that conversation not feeling guilty. Sometimes that is a massive win right there. Sometimes that's a massive win. So I was really happy that conversation happened, and that emotionally I went through everything that I went through, because it just showed me I am more than ready for the things that I've asked for. I am more than ready. And it makes me so happy. I had a couple of other things I wanted to share with you guys. So that conversation, something that I have been doing that I recommend that those of you who struggle to receive start doing, and I've been doing it for a couple days now. Spirit told me at some point, I did an oracle reading for myself, and Spirit was like, okay, so again, you're really good at giving. Excuse me, you're really fucking good at giving. 21 minutes and 23 seconds as I say that. I give of my time, I give my thoughts, I give my ideas, and even when I have money, I tend to give money to people, even when I don't have a lot of money. If I have like 20 bucks in my wallet in ones, I'm very quick to tip people. I'm very quick to give somebody money if they need it, or if I see that they might need it, I give it. If I have it, I try to give it. And I give of my time, I give of my space, I give of my resources, I give of my skills, and Spirit said, you're really, really good at this, but you're really bad at receiving. So to receive is not just for somebody to give you a gift and you go, oh, thanks, and then you move forward. The nature of receiving, which I am being moved to share with you, so I don't know who needs to hear this, but the nature of receiving is not just accepting a gift. It is sitting in that energy that something came to you. You are accepting something into your space, whether it be an idea, whether it be love, whether it be resources, whether it be, money, whether it be power, you're given some power, whatever it might be. But receiving isn't just, oh, thank you, and moving on. It's sitting in that moment and feeling good about it. Being grateful and saying, I deserve it. That's what receiving actually is. And a lot of us who are raised to be people pleasers, aka abandoning self, the 23 minutes as I say that, we find it so difficult to receive things from people. Attention, support, compliments, love, and it bleeds into everything. There's the inability to receive. You always have to then have some kind of self-deprecating thing. Somebody says, oh my gosh, your eyes are beautiful. Yeah, but I can't see with them. 23 minutes and 23 seconds, so I don't know what person who wears glasses is watching this video. But I love you. I love you so much, because I too wear glasses ordinarily. I wear them when I game, usually, because the glasses I have like a blue light filter on it, so that my eyes don't get all super damaged as I'm gaming. But so that is the nature of receiving. So some of you are having trouble with receiving, so I have a little tip for you. I have something that you can start incorporating and you can start practicing right now without people in your life trying to give you stuff. So here's what I want you to start doing. Write this down if you need to. My ear itches. So when you see a lucky number of yours, so let's just say your lucky number is 17, okay? Anytime you see a 17, what I would like for you to start doing is to notice the 17. When you say, hey, that's my lucky number, I want you to start saying, I receive. 24 minutes and 24 seconds as I'm saying this. I want you to start saying, I receive the energy that comes with my lucky number. I receive that luck. I receive that positivity. I receive the joy that I get from seeing that. If you see a triple number, triple digit, 333, 777, 999, any of those, I want you to start saying, I receive that. I receive that as a confirmation that I'm on the right path. I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing. I receive it. I receive it into me. I receive it into my spirit. If somebody gives you a compliment and you say thank you, receive it. You don't have to stand there with the person and do it. But as you're walking away and as you're leaving, say, I receive that compliment. That person said that I have pretty eyes. I receive that I do have pretty eyes. I receive that I do dress well. I receive that I have this really pretty dress on. Or I receive that I look good in my jeans. I receive that this lady said she likes my watch, or she likes my smile, or she likes my beard. She likes my waves, my edges. I receive it. I go further. I'm like, I receive it into my body, and I receive the positivity into my soul. And I've got more stuff that is coming through as a response to that. As a response to it, the universe was like, spirit was like, oh, okay, so you do receive it. Everything has changed for me emotionally and spiritually since I've started doing this, because I'm seeing more. I'm experiencing more. So something that I got that I'm very grateful for is that I received, for those of you who've been following me, I received birthday money in February from my brother, and my brother gave me some money, like an Amazon gift card. And I was like, what am I going to do with this? I don't have a lot of wants and desires. I'm not a person who wants a lot of things. I usually just want the resources to be able to take care of my base needs and to be able to take care of the people that I love, do a little extra fundage and stuff for people that I see who are having a hard time if I'm out. If I'm out or I'm at Walmart and I see a lady struggling to pay for groceries, I want the resources to be able to pay for her groceries. I don't care what people do after I have helped them. I don't care. That's not my job to try to follow them and be like, all right, so do good with this money. Like, if I am moved by spirit to give, I'm gonna give. I'm not gonna not give. So, where was I going with that? Uh-oh. The thought got up and walked away. It said, I was talking about... Oh, yeah. So I got that $75. So I was like, well, I can't pay bills with this. I can't, I could put it towards toiletries, but then they're going to be shipped. So I held on to it. Spirit was like, don't do anything with it. 27 minutes, 27 seconds as I say this. Spirit said, don't do anything with it. Don't do anything with it. So I held on to it. I had held on to it until after I had streamed for a week. I live stream video games on Twitch, which is a streaming platform. And as I was streaming, I met with a friend at some point, and I was like, yeah, I have no idea what to do with this birthday money. I know that's a weird thing to be thinking about. And she was like, not really, because, as a person who's not usually good with receiving, I don't know usually what to do with the things that are gifted to me. And some of you are like this, where you're like, I want this stuff, but you're not comfortable receiving smaller things. So how are you going to be comfortable receiving $1 million? How are you going to be comfortable receiving a soulmate when somebody gives you a compliment, you're batting it away? You're in a headspace of, oh, nope, don't know if I deserve that. You gotta look at that, my love. You gotta look at that. I'm not slapping you on the hand or telling you you're doing anything bad, but what I am letting you know is that the universe works based off of consistency, consistent energy. So you can't say, I want all these things, I want to receive all these things, but then in the same breath say, I don't want these things. I don't want that positive energy. Because then Spirit's like, well, you don't want it then. So I was like, I don't know what to do with this. And my friend goes, you're streaming, right? I was like, yeah. She was like, do you have a good microphone? And I was like, well, not really. I'm using my headset that I use to play, video games with my siblings. And she was like, look at getting a microphone. I didn't think I was going to be able to find a microphone with the money that I had, because the last good microphone that was bought for me that ended up going to somebody else because they needed to borrow it, and then they used it and didn't really treat her right. So then I was like, you can keep it. I don't want it back. You're good. You can have it. It costed quite a bit more. I was able to go on Amazon and I put the tech information for the streaming stuff that I get. It's on Instagram. So it's on my Instagram account that is now my gaming account. So anybody who's watching this, if you're interested in streaming anything. If you want to stream video games, if you want to do podcasts and stuff like that, you can check out what I got on my Instagram. It's Tato the Penguin, I think, Tato the Penguin 23, or just Tato the Penguin on Instagram. It's linked in my, it'll be linked in my description, and then it's also linked on my channel if you're interested in checking it out. But I was able to purchase a microphone arm that like locks to your desk, and then you can put a microphone on it and you can move it around at your leisure. And I was also able to purchase a Blue Yeti Nano microphone, and the sound is really good. I really like the sound. The current microphones that streamers and like podcasters that they're using is considerably more than what I paid. 30 minutes and 30 seconds as I'm saying that. But, you know, to start off, you use what you can. You know, you get what is available to you. For those of you who are wanting to get started and you're like, I need more expensive stuff. No, you don't, my love. You can get started right now with what you have. You can get started right now with what you have. Don't make the excuses that you can't get started because you don't have the most expensive stuff. Because some of you use that as an excuse to not get started because you're scared. You're scared of the change. You're scared of having to commit. You're scared of somebody actually reaching out and having an opportunity for you, and now you have to show up every day and you have to keep firing, you know? You have to keep making shit happen. So my brother gave me that money and gifted that. And he has also supported me in other ways financially for my streaming and stuff. And I shared with him that there are times where I doubt that what I'm doing is going to be worth a damn. And I tend to get in those headspaces when I talk to people who are asking me, so what do you do for work? How do you make money? And I'm like, well, right now, I am doing things that bring me joy, that make me feel fulfilled. And all of the hustle people are like, okay, but like, you're not making any money. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. It didn't used to be like this. Like, human beings didn't used to be so money focused. And again, the society that we live in has made it mandatory to live and exist. The fact that there are people who can't get proper health care because they can't afford it is crazy. The fact that people have to purchase clean drinking water. The fact that people who have illnesses that they were born with or that they contracted just by nature of the food that we're being fed here in the US are having to pay massive amounts of money just to live, to breathe, to survive. 32 minutes and 32 seconds to say that. That is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The fact that people are having to pay out of pocket for education, I think that's ridiculous. And a lot of people might be like, well, how are the people doing it going to make money? Bro, we weren't always like this. We didn't always do it this way. And there's a better way to do it. Everything that is worth looking at as far as humanity, as far as bettering humanity, does not have money as the root of everything at its center. It just doesn't. It doesn't feel good that money dictates everything that you do. It's an item. It's something that we made. It has no soul. You know, it does not do anything except what we do with it, you know? But I was incredibly grateful to my brother because my brother is actually one of my sponsors. I didn't see that on my bingo card. It's not that I thought that 33 minutes and 33 seconds as I say this, it's not that I thought that my brother hated me or anything. I just didn't think that I would have people in my life who were like, oh no, you're doing this thing that is under the umbrella of entertainment. No, yeah, I want to see more of that. Do it. I want to support you. Because there are people who say they want to support you, and then there are people that do. There are people who say, oh man, I love this for you. I love that you're doing this. And then there are people who show up for your streams. There are people who like and share your content. There are people who send you money or send you items even if they don't have money. Or they say, what can I do to help you market your stuff? What type of business help do you need? And I am so blessed to have people who have come out of the woodwork to help me on this endeavor. And so now I have to keep going because of the fact that I am also receiving help from people who are like, no, I think this could be something. Now, I don't know if streaming and doing content is going to bring me money. I don't know. It could be that the way spirit works, the money comes from somewhere else, and this is something that I'm doing for a spiritual reason. You know, you never know. The amount of people who I've heard who were like, man, I was having trouble every day. I didn't want to be here. And I watched this one person stream this video game and I started watching their content. And at night when I was alone, because I lived alone, and when I was having dark thoughts, I would turn on this person's stream and I would watch them joke and laugh and play video games, and it made me feel better. I know some of you are like, really? You know, yeah. Those types of things happen all the time. ASMR, the stuff where people like tap and they whisper and things like that, that has helped a lot of people through tough times. We live in a society where people, especially in 2020, started feeling really isolated. And so people who created online content that was specifically tailored to being there for other people, kind of replicating what it would be like to spend time in a room with somebody as they're doing their own stuff, there's a reason why that content blew up when it did. There's a reason for it. We as human beings want to feel connected. We want to feel cared for. We want to have noise in the background as we're doing things. The amount of people I know who cannot fall asleep unless a TV is on. A lot of people will be like, well, that's unhealthy. As unhealthy as it might be, it's a reality for a lot of people who live alone. There are a lot of people who they were raised in large families where there was constantly noise, and now they live by themselves. They're doing their work. They're trying to make things happen. Maybe they're in a position where they can't get back home. There are a lot of people who once COVID happened, they couldn't fly back home because they were shutting down airports. They were grounding flights. They weren't letting people in. There are people to this day who still have not gone home to various locations. So when I think about that, and I think about the support that I have, and I think about what I'm doing, there is a purpose behind it. And I feel good about it, and I trust it. I trust it. And I think that you should trust anything that you are moved to do, even if it doesn't look like on the surface level it's going to bring you money. Because it's not all about the money. It's not. It's about relationships that we create with other people, the bonds that we have with people, being able to be there for people. That's really what it's about at the end of the day. You know, in a post-apocalyptic world, what do we have? We have each other. And maybe zombie dogs. But, so yeah. So, to kind of circle back, as things happen that you see, if you see a butterfly, tell Spirit, tell God, tell Allah, say, I receive that as a sign of my transformation. As a sign that I am coming out of my cocoon as a beautiful butterfly. I've transformed from a caterpillar. If you see animals playing, squirrels playing in particular, take that as a sign that you are to be more playful, that you are to not take life so seriously, to enjoy yourself. If you see a video like mine or somebody else's who's doing an oracle reading or tarot card reading, or they are speaking to you and they're speaking your life, pause the video and say, I receive this. I'm so grateful and I receive this into my spirit. This is for me. This is for me. This sparks joy. If you're on TikTok, Instagram, and you're scrolling and you see videos that make you laugh, receive it. Verbally say, I receive this into my soul and spirit. It's going to help a lot of you. It's going to help you get out of this headspace that you don't deserve things, because you cannot be there. You cannot be in that headspace, and you can't be in that headspace because you're not going to receive the things that are there for you, that you're wanting, you know? Like, a lot of people want a soulmate, and a soulmate can be challenging. 38 minutes and 38 seconds as I'm saying this. A soulmate, from what I'm hearing, can be a very challenging experience, because that soulmate essentially triggers all of the toxic things that you struggle with. So being in a place where you can receive things and you're working on that is going to make that easier. You're still going to have access to your soulmate. There's a lot of you, that is your life path. That is what you've chosen. That is what you came back here to do, and I'm so excited for you. And it'll be easier if right now you start working on receiving things into your space. You are loved. You are cared for. You have worth, and you matter. You matter so much. You matter so much, my love. You matter so much. So, shared my conversation today and how I felt like I grew a little bit, and I was very happy. If you've been doing shadow work and you're like, I don't see any changes, look at how you handle situations now versus how you handled situations 3 years ago. Give yourself a pat on the back. Those things don't just happen. That was work that you put in to be better. You deserve to give yourself a pat on the back. You deserve to celebrate yourself and to feel good about yourself about it. Second, the receiving. Saying that you receive positive things when they happen, and that you receive them, that you receive it from spirit, and that you're excited for more stuff to receive. Do that. The next thing, what else? There was something else that I thought of that I was thinking to mention. All of this is unscripted, but these are like ideas, things that like stuck out to me today. What else? There was another thing. Excuse me. Let me grab some water while I think. What else was there? Y'all, listen. This streaming thing is hilarious because as a person who is potentially autistic, something that I hate are changes to things that I am doing that are routine. I do not like my routine interrupted. And I know for people who are not on the spectrum, they're not neurospicy at all, don't understand this. But it is a struggle to just hop from one thing to the next. Multiple times today, I was in situations where I was interrupted. And something about me is when I get really focused on things, I hate interruption. Because I'm locked in, I have a task, and I'm right there and I can do it. When you interrupt me, you stop the momentum and it pisses me off. It's not a mild irritant. It angers me. Like I want to flip tables. While I was streaming, my mom came into the room. And it's already kind of tough because there's really no time during the day or night that I can stream that is not going to bother somebody or that's not going to be at risk of me not being able to stream. There is no time. So Spirit was like, just pick a time and be consistent about that and let your family know, hey, this is when I stream. This is important because if this was a paid job and I was working remote, they would have no choice but to respect, hey, she's got a job, this is what she's doing. And this was something that, kind of was talked about where it was like, people in your life respecting things that they deem as being valuable versus things that they don't think as being valuable, but it's valuable and important to you. But anywho, I was streaming and I had told my family, and I always make sure I tell my family. I'll send a text to my immediate family members who are not living, and I'm like, hey, so I'm streaming from this time to this time. If you need me, please don't need me. Because if I was like working overnight somewhere, you wouldn't just call me for every little thing. You wouldn't be like, oh, hey, where's the stuff in the fridge? You would go and you'd look for it because I'm not there, because I'm working, So I tell my family when I'm streaming, and for the most part, it's been fine. I've only been streaming, I actually don't know. I think I've streamed 4 times, like officially, like actually been gaming. And then my mom came in tonight and was like, sorry that she knocks on the door while I'm streaming. And then she opens the door and she's like, hey, so I have this question. And it was a question that didn't need to be asked. It was hilarious because if my mother, whom I love and adore, had looked around, she would have been able to answer that question herself. But she interrupted me and I was very irritated in the moment, and then I was able to kind of get back to what I was doing. But I was like, yo, what can I learn from this situation? And Spirit was like, you're learning to pivot. You're learning to be okay with being interrupted. Because at some point, yeah, you're going to have your own space where you can do this and people aren't going to interrupt you. But it's a good habit to form to be comfortable with interruption. It's a good habit to form to be comfortable with pivoting, with doing things you're not necessarily the most comfortable with. And I was like, all right, Spirit, whatever you say, I trust you, I guess. And it happened like 2 or 3 times today where I was in the middle of something and somebody would call me, and instead of being like, hey, are you busy? They would immediately start talking. And I was like, what's happened? What's happened in the House of Commons? What's going on? But I realized again, this period of time is a period of time to familiarize myself with a lot of the shadow work lessons that I have been learning. Because it's very easy, I think, sometimes for some of us to do shadow work and then to be like, oh, I'm good because you handled a couple of situations. But then what if 4 months down the line you run into a similar situation? Is that lesson that you learned, did it stick? Or was it just good because you learned it that week and you could use it immediately, you know? So don't be mad, you know? Don't be upset if you're running into similar situations from your past that like really, really bother you. You're like, why is this coming up again? It's coming up again, I personally think, and this is just my opinion, I think these things come up again because it is Spirit's way of asking us, do you really want the thing that you want? Because if you really want the thing that you want, you're okay with changing to be in the place where you can actually receive that. So me, I'm looking for a soulmate, and again, I've been told that my soulmate most likely is neurospicy in some way. Most likely will have ADHD. And one of the things that comes along with having ADHD sometimes is the spontaneity of, hey, you know, I want to share something with you, or hey, I want to talk to you. And ordinarily, I think I would be okay with that. But I think there's a possibility that I might not respond in a way that I'm happy with if I'm like really involved in something. And I think that's why right now I'm practicing that, so that I can be better at handling interruption. I can be better at handling when another person's really excited and they didn't ask me if I had the space, you know? In every conversation, one person usually has to be the person to be conscientious of what is happening in the conversation. Conscientious of themselves and then conscientious of the other person. It's easy for us to sit back and go, everybody else should be better. Everybody else should be better. You have no idea how often I think that. But what's reality is that we can't control other people. We can't always have other people be better. Sometimes you have to lead by example. So some of you are in families and friendships and relationships at work where people do a lot of irritating things and they're not the best at communicating, or they're not the best at asking you if you have space. And so what you're doing by doing these things consistently, even when other people don't do it, is you're showing them this is how you engage with other people. You are leading by example. And I know some of you didn't ask for that. Some of y'all, you're hearing a lot about leadership. You're 47 minutes and 23 seconds as I say this. You're hearing a lot about leadership. You're hearing a lot about, you know, showing people or educating people or teaching people. And you're like, I should not have to do this. You shouldn't have to, no. You shouldn't have to. But if you are in any way charismatic, if you're in any way a loving person with a kind heart, you are in a unique position to do that. Some of you, you don't feel like that's what you came back here to do, and it's not what you came back here to do. So do not feel like I'm telling you that you should do it. Do not feel pressured. But some of you, because of how you were raised and because you weren't really given a lot of assistance, your inner teen's a bit pissed that other people require assistance. And you're like, well, you should just do better because I had to do better. But it's kind of like parents. It's like, when you get to a place where you have elevated and you're in a different place, it's not your job necessarily to bring everybody with you, because you can't. Other people have to do their own thing, you know? But something that just kind of becomes something that you do is you kind of just start leading by example. Sometimes I'm petty. Sometimes I choose violence. Verbal violence. Because physical violence, I don't be doing that. I'm little. I'm not a fighter in that regard. But sometimes we choose violence, and that's okay. Sometimes we choose to get at people. Sometimes we choose to not help people. And that's totally within your realm of rights to do that. Because I think sometimes we feel bad about it because we're like, you know, I've been doing all this work, I've been doing all this shadow work, I've been in therapy, why would I do that? Well, because sometimes you just want to. And I don't think it makes you a bad person. Sometimes I think it's a bit exhausting, constantly being on the being the bigger person. I think it can be exhausting. So sometimes, you know, sometimes I choose to be petty. Sometimes I choose to be a little bitch. It is what it is. And I think that's okay for everybody. I think everybody occasionally can be that way. I think seeking to be perfect is a mistake, and I think being that way all the time is probably not great, but I think sometimes you deserve to have, like a mini crash out where you're just like, I just don't want to do this. Everybody stop asking me questions. Goddamn. I think it's okay. That's my opinion. Don't take that as an excuse to do anything crazy, okay? That's just my opinion. But yeah. So, what was that? Oh yeah, so yeah, with the streaming thing, it's crazy because it's like I gained something, and then in some regard I almost felt like I lost something. So I got a microphone and I got a microphone stand and my sound is better, but then I was like, damn, like I'm being interrupted all the time. So is this just going to be a common thing where I'm constantly being interrupted? And I don't think it's going to be. My roommate shared with me, she was like, hey, so when do you stop streaming? And I haven't really had like a stop time. I usually just go by the timer that pops up on the stream. So usually at about 4 hours and 30 minutes I stop, but I was in the middle of a game at 4 hours and 40 minutes, and I was like, ooh, like this is a really weird place to stop. I was playing what I thought was a dating simulator. I just downloaded it because it looked interesting. Apparently it's more of a, like, you're kind of dating somebody, you're dealing with pretty heavy stuff. I do not recommend watching it. If gaslighting, people voluntarily leaving this plane of existence, childhood abuse and neglect, drug abuse, like it deals with a lot of heavy stuff. It's like a psychological, like horror kind of sim type situation where our character, the character I play, is kind of in a relationship with somebody who is turning out to not be the best person. They're incredibly gaslighty. It's rough, and I literally just stopped playing that. So that's part of the reason I was like, I need to do a video tonight because I need to like come down off of that, because that was a lot. I saw the warnings when I started playing. I didn't think it was going to be like that because I've never played a game like this before. But I'm having a good time. I actually really enjoy the game. It's very realistic to, I think, how a lot of people who deal with toxic boyfriends or girlfriends or, partners in general, it is a reality for a lot of people. And so I definitely want to continue through the game to see it to its conclusion, because I feel like that type of behavior is something that does need to be seen. And it's interesting to be the character who is kind of watching this other person and having to witness what's going on with them and having to choose the right words and things like that. But yeah, streaming is, oh yeah, so my sister was like, yeah, so when do you stop? She was like, I just need it to be consistent. Now at first I was like, is it really that big of a deal? Because I only stream 2 days out of the 7. So it's 5 days where I'm not doing anything, where I'm pretty much here all day. I'm cleaning, I'm cooking, I'm doing all kinds of other stuff. I'm trying to stay out of the way as best I can. And then 2 days out of the week, I stream for up to 4.5 hours. I ended up streaming for 5 hours tonight because of the way the game was. And I was irritated at first, when my sister brought it up to me. I wasn't mad at her. I was mad at the situation. I was like, damn. If I had my own place right now, I wouldn't be dealing with this because I'd be in my own space and I wouldn't be in anybody's way. I'd be able to stream by myself. But the reason I bring this up is because some of you are in shared spaces as well. You watching this may also be in a shared space, or you may be in a space where the thing that you're trying to do, there's really no way that you can do it without kind of inconveniencing somebody else. But the thing is if you are led to do it, you need to do it, because there's not always going to be the perfect time. My mother is a violinist, and she plays violin. 53 minutes and 53 seconds as I say that. So somebody watching this is a musician, potentially. My mother is a violinist, and she sings. And in the last house that we were living in, it was a house. And my mom was a part of an orchestra, is a part of an orchestra, and she was asked to sing for events and things and stuff all the time. And she would be like, I just don't have a place to sing and practice. And I was like, what do you mean? We're in a house. We're not attached to anybody else. You can sing in the garage. And she was like, well, I just don't want to inconvenience anybody, And I was like, okay, I get that, but you have to practice. You have to practice because you're being asked to perform and to play. And because of the nature of, where my mom sings and stuff, she doesn't have access to like practice rooms where you sing. And for those of you that don't know, there are schools that have practice rooms that you can go in for free if you're a student, and you can practice, piano, whatever instrument you play, you can sing. And usually those rooms have like soundproofing in some capacity so that you can practice. My mom doesn't have that, and my mom sings like similar to opera music, so it's pretty loud. I like it, but maybe not everybody does. And so she constantly was like, no, I don't want to practice, I don't want to practice, and it would affect how she performed. Now we live in an apartment because that house, the landlord just kept upping the price. And I understand why that's done, but it got to a point where it was unsustainable. And now we live in an apartment. And she definitely cannot sing at her full power and play at her full power here in the apartment. And so when we first moved into this apartment, she was like, well, I don't know what to do. I just don't know where I can go to practice. And I was like, Mom, you may just have to start practicing here in the apartment during the day. If you get a call or you get an email from somebody and they're like, hey, I work at home during the day, then you can talk to them 55 minutes and 55 seconds as I say this. Then you can talk to them and you can say, hey, so what hours are good for me to practice? I have no other location that I can go because of where we live. There's not a lot of places where she can go where she's not inconveniencing people. This is the nature of being a human being and living in shared spaces. A lot of us share spaces. This is why we should give grace to other people. If I hear somebody playing their music super loud and I'm not really doing anything, I don't care. I let them play it because it's a shared space. We try to be as conscientious as we can of other people, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Sometimes you gotta practice. You got a big gig coming up and you have nowhere else to go. You gotta get done with what you gotta get done, So, for me, streaming, my sister was like, I just need you to be consistent. And I was like, okay. So I usually start at 8 o'clock and I usually will end at 4.5 hours in. So we talked it over and I was irritated at first. I left the room, washed some dishes, and then I came back and I was like, what time are you what time do you prefer the room to be in a state where you can wind down for the night? Like, what's a good time? Because before, the time was working, but my sister sometimes prefers to go to bed earlier or later depending on how she feels, and in a shared room, that is her right to be able to change her mind on when she wants to go to bed. Again, this is the nature of what happens when you're in a shared space and there's not really much you can do about it at the time. And she was like, well, I prefer to be in bed at like 11, so if you can stop streaming at 11 o'clock at night, by 11 I'm good. And I was like, okay, so I will do whatever I need to do by 11 at night. I can do that. I can make that happen. Now, if I had a job where it was like an overnight job and I was working from home and I had an overnight job, that would be a whole different conversation. We would have to try to come up with something. But luckily, that's not the case right now. So, it was frustrating. I was in the bathroom on the pot and I was like, oh my gosh, why can't everything just be different now? And I know that you're watching this and you probably feel the same way about whatever situation you're going through. You're like, oh my God, why can't it just be different right now? But these are all good things to practice. Being conscientious, listening to what other people have to say, sometimes having a little bit of a cry or crashing out a little bit and coming back from that, bouncing back. Life is not perfect. We are not perfect. We have a lot of wins and sometimes we have a lot of loses, or we have a couple of loses. And it doesn't mean that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Sometimes we just go through things. But with everything that's happening, something that I keep remembering, and I keep saying it to myself, is that once this changes, it has changed. It will be changed. Once I move out, and I'm either living with a partner, or I am on my own, or I'm with other roommates, I will not live with my parents again. And how I know that that's going to be the case is most likely because once I move out, that's me being able to live a sustainable existence outside of this house. I'm not always going to be able to share a room with my sister. And sharing a room with my sister, as great as it is, there are pros and cons for both of us. She, my sister, struggles. She has to have alone time. And something that she shared with me was that it's difficult for her to be in a room and share a room with another person because she feels my presence. Even if she's got her face mask on, she's got noise cancellation headphones on, she can feel my presence in the room. 59 minutes and 59 seconds. So I don't know what empath I'm talking to, but hi. She says she can feel my presence, and so it's still hard for her to relax. And I love parallel play. This is one of my neurospicy things. Parallel play, I love being in a space and sharing a space with somebody and we're both doing our own thing. I love that. My sister, she does not. She prefers, if you're sharing a space, this is something we found out, something that I realized, that I read up on. So for people who have ADHD, sometimes what they like is something called body doubling, where in order to finish a task or as they're doing something, they like having another person there who's interacting with them so that they can do what they need to do. Some people, and that's my sister, she loves body doubling. She loves going over to her friend's house and they all do homework together. Like, she's very big into body doubling. She doesn't always need it, but she appreciates it. Something that I love is parallel play. I don't necessarily need body doubling. I don't always want body doubling because parallel play is different because you don't engage. An hour, 1 minute, and 11 seconds as I say this. Parallel play is when you're both doing your own stuff in the same space, but you don't engage. And I love that. I love feeling the presence of other people in my space and not having to engage with them. So for me, sharing a room with her, in a lot of cases, outside of streaming and trying to do stuff like that, is magical for me because I get to share a space with her. For her, it can be very draining. And so I was giving her some ideas of some stuff that she could do or some things that I could do in order to make that easier for her. So what I'll do is, if she's here, I'll take 3 and 4 hour long walks. It's great for me. I can get the sun in. If the weather's good, I'm outside, I'm chilling, I'm relaxing, and she gets to have the room, you know, where she can just be there and only have to worry about her energy. So this whole experience really has been teaching me more and more about compromising and sharing a space with another person. And I know that this is going to be beneficial when it comes to meeting my soulmate and sharing a space with my soulmate, because this is what happens. You compromise as far as what you do in a shared space together. Some people, they like to have their own separate spaces. There's one lady I follow on TikTok. She and her, I think he's her husband. I'm pretty sure they're married. And they both live in separate houses. He lives like 2 houses down from her, and she has her own house. And what happened was she already had, I believe, her house when they met. And it was her house that she paid for and everything. And then he had his own house. And so a lot of people were like, well, why don't y'all just sell your house and combine? And she's like, no, because I like having my own space. And a lot of people are like, well, does that mean there's problems in the relationship? No, some people really just like having a space that they can go back to. And one of the ways that it's really beneficial is when you are like, I need like an hour or 2 to just chill. You don't have to go somewhere. You have your home that you can relax in. And then you come together. And then the cool thing is she says that it's a really nice change of pace for them because sometimes they'll stay at her house together, and then sometimes they'll go to his house together, and then sometimes they separate. So it keeps everything, there's still spice there. It's nice. I love that people are becoming more comfortable living non-traditionally. Like, I love that we're in this space where people are realizing they can do the relationship thing in more ways than one. I love that. I respect it. I adore it. But yeah, so those were the lessons that I kind of learned today. Those are the things that I kind of took in. Like I said during that conversation this morning, I literally had a remember who you are moment. My bestie messaged me and was like, hey, you've got this. It's okay. Remember what you are bringing into your reality. All of the signs that you're seeing, all of the confirmations, all of the synchronicities, all of the affirmations, everything. It's coming. It's just about to break through. Do not give up now. Do not give up now. Do not say this is ridiculous, this is stupid, it's not worth it, because it's usually around this time that people will give up. This is the time where people are like, I've been doing this and then they tell you how many years they've been doing this. And they're like, I'm done. And it's like, what if you had just kept going just a little bit longer? What if you kept going just a little bit longer? It's like that picture that I saw. It was a comic, and it was two miners underground, like mining with helmets and stuff. And they were mining, and one guy is mining, and he's got space. And then the other guy is mining, and he doesn't have space. And he hits something, and he's like, ugh. And so he gives up and goes away. And then in the next panel, it zooms out, and you can see the guy that walked away. There was a diamond right there. And the other guy above him had a little bit further to go, but there's a diamond for him as well. And so 5 minutes and 15 seconds on the hour as I say this. So it speaks to this whole hang in there, keep going, keep going, keep going. How upset would you be if you found out that it was just around the corner? The thing you were looking for, the person you were looking for, the fulfillment that is on your path, that is yours. It belongs to you, and you were right there. But because you were frustrated, you gave it up. You let it go. Only to go back to doing the stuff that you did before. And here's the thing. Here's why I don't think you should give up. Here's why I don't think you should give up on whatever it is you're trying to do or that you're wanting to do. 5 minutes and 55 seconds is the thought that came to me on the hour. The reason I don't think you should give up is because for you, this isn't just going to go away. It's going to come back. It's going to come back and back again. Back again. Alyssa Edwards. I love drag queens. For you, this isn't just going to go away. This desire that you have to create, the desire you have to feel fulfilled, the desire you have to have peace, to have happiness, to break the generational curses that you are breaking a lot already simply by existing, it's not going to go away. So you giving up now isn't going to result in you giving up and then being comfortable with the fact that you didn't keep going. That's not going to happen. Yasha, how do you know that? I can tell you how I know that. Because most likely, whatever it is that you're like, it's just not breaking through and I don't know what I'm doing, is something you've been dealing with for years. This isn't new. 7 minutes and 7 seconds on the hour as I say this. This is not a new thing that you're doing for you. This is something that you have been looking at. This is something that you have been dreaming about. This is something that you really, really want. So giving up now is not going to just be okay for you one day. It's going to be something that keeps bothering you. So you may as well just keep going. You may as well just keep going while you've got it. Not you can sleep when you're dead, but you can quit. You can quit later down the line. The thing is you can always quit. You can always stop. You have the ability to stop trying to lock it in. You have the ability to stop going for the thing that you want. You don't have to. This is not a must. But how great, how amazing is this story gonna be if you keep going? If you don't keep going, the story it'll still be a decent story. But how much more amazing and cinematic and theatrical will it be if you kept going and then right as you were about to give up, you broke through? Broke through what? You broke through the wall. You started achieving. 8 minutes and 23 seconds as I say this. Ooh, I felt chills when I saw it. You're breaking through and it's happening. The person who inspired me, for those of you still watching, the person who inspired me to do these videos, Jadina, I message. She talks to me. Like, she has over 100,000 followers on YouTube. And I've reached out to her 3 or 4 times and she always responds to me. She's always like, oh, thank you, love. You know, I love this. I love seeing your stuff. I'm very proud of you. I love you. And I never thought that would happen. You know how many years I commented or messaged people who were like people who had large followings on social media or on Twitch and stuff like that, and I would put messages and I never saw anything. The people doing these videos never said anything, and now people talk to me. It hasn't equaled anything. It hasn't like resulted in anything big, But it's weird. Like, I engage with other content creators now. Other small content creators. I had somebody reach out to me today who was like, oh yeah, I saw your stream a couple days ago. And I do work. I do this work for other, I stream, but I also design this digital stuff for other for streamers. I'd like to show you my work. I was like, yeah, I'd love to see it. So it's like, it's stuff that feels like little stuff, but it's not little stuff. Because to spirit, to the universe, it's never little stuff. It's never little stuff. It's all the same to the universe. It's all big stuff. So, shared with you the conversation I had today. So remember, grumpy stomach, remember that frustrating situations that crop up for you that knock the wind out of you, they're there to teach you something. They're not just happening to fuck you up. They're not just happening just fucking cause. It's not because the universe hates you. It's not because you're doing terribly wrong. It's not because you are the fucking worst. It's because there's something it's trying to teach you. Something about yourself the situation is showing you. And pay attention to how you're handling things right now. How much better are you handling it than you did before? So pat yourself on the back for that. Say that you receive things an hour and 11 minutes as we're here. Verbally say that you receive the things that you're receiving, whether it be time from other people, whether it be money from other people, whether it be resources, whether it be attention, whether it be support. Receive those things. Look at all of the different ways that you receive. When you step outside and the sun is shining on you, close your eyes, look up at that bitch and be like, I receive the UV rays to a healthy extent. I receive the wind, the breeze, this beautiful thing that I'm seeing. The universe gave me the ability to see or experience this thing. Say that you receive it. If you're trying to do something right now and you're inconveniencing other people, it's okay. It's okay. A lot of us who are starting out and a lot of people who have started out inconvenienced people with what they did. It's the nature of being human. It's okay. What's not okay is being like, suck it up, you'll be fine. Try to be as accommodating as you can be without betraying yourself, without abandoning self. We don't want to slip back into people pleasing, This is a good time to work on compromise. And then lastly, keep going. Keep going. You might as well. 12 minutes and 12 seconds as I say this. Oh, that makes me emotional. Oh, that makes me emotional. Keep going. Because that's for me too. Keep going. Keep going. 12 minutes and 23 seconds as I say that. Keep going. Because the book that is your life, the books that are your life right now are amazing. And I definitely want to see the next chapter of yours. Just as I want to see the next chapter of mine. We got this. We got this. Do I have anything else? Other than we got this. Ooh. Last thing. For those of you who have people in your lives who are trying to tell you what you need to do, I don't think Robert Downey Jr. was the first person to say it, but I heard him say it in an interview, and I want y'all to do this. There are going to be people who try to tell you what you need to do. And what I would like for you to do is listen. Listen intently. And be like, yeah, okay, I got you. And then go back to doing exactly what your spirit told you to do in the first fucking place. If somebody's giving you advice and it resonates, what I'm saying does not apply to that. But if somebody keeps giving you advice that you don't need, like you're like, yeah, no, I want to be a musician, I'm writing music and I'm trying to figure out places that I can audition my stuff and I'm trying to create a demo reel that I can send out to people, and somebody's like, you know what you need to do? You need to get a job here, or you need to do this, and you need to do this. If it resonates, go ahead. But if it doesn't, listen intently and then do exactly what she was going to do. This goes all the way back to moving in silence. There are a lot of people that claim they support you that don't want to see you win. So if you move in silence and you're winning, you don't have to worry about who is who. 14 minutes and 40 seconds as I say that. You can just move forward. Do your thing, my love. You have got this. You've got this. And I'm still here. Even though I don't do these videos every night, if you guys comment on my videos, I do get the notifications now where I will see some of your comments. I will come back. and I'll say, hey, I see you. I see you. I see you doing things, and I'm incredibly proud of you. I love you guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you to those of you, 14 minutes and 44 seconds on the hour as I say this. Thank you to those of you who are still here. You're still following. You're still going. New subscribers that I have, welcome, welcome, welcome. Like I said, I am still kind of trying to get a hold of the way that I do content, my content schedule and things like that. I'm still working on that. We're still in the garage phase, as you will, of my company. So as I'm doing all of this, I appreciate you all's patience, but I'm still going. I'm still doing stuff. So keep an eye out for future content if that's what you're interested in. I try to upload video game footage and clips and stuff, and videos like this. I still try to make sure that I am putting this type of content out there because I feel like it's great for me and it's great for you. But I love you guys, and I will holler at you in the next video in this series that I do. For those of you who watch my videos and stuff, I may post a video on Sunday of a game that I've played. It just depends on which video I go back and find, because I haven't posted a video of me playing on YouTube in a while. It's been a minute, so I'll go back and see whatever that is. And like I said, if you're interested in following my video game stuff or following like kind of what happens in that creative realm, I have my Instagram linked below. My TikTok account's doing something weird. I don't know what's happening. I really don't. So if you want to follow me on TikTok, you're not gonna find me searching for me on there regularly. You have to follow the link that I'm gonna post. I've only posted like 23 videos on there, I think. Maybe it's not even that much. It could be less than that, but it's small. But TikTok's doing something weird with my account. Like, it's just, it's bothering me because it's continuing to link back to an account I don't have access to. So I have to figure that out. But yeah, but here on YouTube and everything, and I said that I was gonna do a live here on YouTube. I've been doing most of my live stuff on Twitch, and the reason I do it there is because I'm not getting a lot of like engaging feedback on YouTube, so I don't want to do a live necessarily on YouTube, not having a lot of people say they want to be in the live, because the whole point of the live is to engage with you guys. So I've got a lot of lurkers that I love and I appreciate. The lives, I don't know if you'd get anything out of them if I'm just sitting there staring at the screen. So anytime that I go live on Twitch, typically it's Wednesday and Friday from 8 p.m. to 11. I might start doing 7 to 10:30, 10:45 in there. But I'm always on there. If you guys have questions, if you want to talk to me, I'm always willing to talk while I game. So yeah, I love you guys so much, and I will holler at you next time. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, or night. I hope your next 12 hours are incredible. I hope the next, just anytime before I see you next, I hope it's an amazing time. I hope miracles come through for you, and I just want everything for you. I want everything to go well for you. I really do. Again, if you guys are experiencing any type of wins, any type of desires, you're trying to share stuff, put it in the comments. You don't have to, you never have to, but I will definitely respond. I'll definitely share your stuff. I'll put it out there because I want us all to win. Come through, group win. Alrighty, I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later.